Hello! I just woke up. My hair's all crazy. Oh. Try to realize why I'm talking about this thing. Let me put it to perspective. Because not a lot of people realize this. I look at it from my own perspective. And I think a lot of people will probably agree with me. How your childhood can mess up your adulthood. It's very obvious that people should realize that. As you're growing up, and once you hit a certain age, and then you look back at your childhood, was your childhood the goodness, the goodest, the baddest, okay, average, whatever. The statistics are, or say the percentages are everywhere. But when you look at how people grow as a child, and people always say it's based upon genetics, why you act like that. In some senses, it could be, but a lot of it's based on what you see. Not even what you see just in the family, but what you see around you. That's where you get culture. So once you see that culture, your brain automatically develops to the surroundings. So people always say, "Oh, it's the way your parents raise you." I mean, okay, if your parents tell you no, you listen to the no. If your parents tell you yes, then you listen to the yes. But that's just hearing. That's just one sense. What you see, what you smell, what you taste definitely develops how you're raised too. So what I mean by that, well, certain kind of food you like to eat, you know, not a huge impact, but could be a gentle impact on your diet to why you might be obese when you're older. And that you might actually change it because you might actually see or even hear someone talking about, that food's not good for you or you need to stop eating so much of it. All this stuff has to do with how you grow up as a child into adulthood. Now, sometimes it does the opposite effect to where when you see something and you instinctually look at it as it being bad. So, like for instance, if your if your dad or your mom, one of them treats you like shit, like one's always thinking that they're right, and the other one always thinks that they're right, as in like two opposites. So like if one thinks they're always right, the other one, bends the will to the person that thinks they're always right. Well, like the way I look at it, it's true. Woman or man, I have to say, I guess it's more kind of a woman thing, especially back then, how they were raised, because I'm going by what I have dealt with being at my age of 31 years old. The whole woman thing, man supporting a woman, has always been like that. But how the man treats the woman affects the kids. So, like for instance, my dad was a bully, not a bad bully, but he was attention bully. He liked attention. He liked to use his words to make people believe he's something more than what he is. A lot of men do this. I'm strong. I don't lift weights, but I'm strong, right? Because your words can manipulate certain people because their emotions are all like, well, you might be strong. And then it's like, that's just one thing. But that affects your childhood. So like I was developed. I was young. I was the baby of my family. I have two older brothers. I never knew who to be because I followed them around. My personality was to, chase other people around. Evidently, must be a genetic thing because that's what I did for so long. And then as they left the house, I tried to role model my dad when I was very young. I would say I was probably like 3 or 4, but he was very. I guess he can be aggressive. Not like he was always aggressive. He can be aggressive. So he got into the guilty side of him and had to feel sadness because of his actions. But how he explained the actions took longer, instead of just saying, yeah, it was my fault right up front. Or maybe take a couple of days and be like, yeah, okay, I'll give in. A lot of people have that problem. I'm not saying it's just mostly men, but I have a pretty good feeling that a certain percentage of man, depending on how they're raised, are going to be, well, I don't know if it was my fault or not. Because you did something. I always use the because or but. And women do it too. And what I'm trying to figure out is, because I see it. I see younger people admit to mistakes, boy or girl, and I see older people, boy or girl, make the same mistake or make a mistake and never confess up to it. Like, what's with mistakes? So, when you're a child, did you always get what you want? If you drop something, did mommy clean it up and say, don't worry about it, it's okay? And say, it is a mistake, but don't worry about it. No, you worry about it. Say, hey, clean up your own mess. Was that due to a child? Well, I don't want to at first because I want to play video games. That's more entertaining. Well, yeah, because you're going by excitement. Children like more exciting than responsibilities. Unless something triggers a responsibility. Like seeing a mom live on her own and help pay for everything. And the boy develops that sort of thing. I want to take care of my mom. That's what he'll do. Once he gets old enough, he'll work. I mean, this happens all the time. Once you get 16 or 15 and a half, they start working. And that's where the responsibility comes in. So that's how you're raised, how you grow up. So your whole entire life is saying, I want to take care of my mom. But sometimes, if you do too much, you have too much emotions towards your mom. When you want to get a woman, or when you want to be happy get a woman, depending if the mom's too abusive and saying like, help me kind of thing. And then kind of push you in that. But if you do on your own accord, you're going to learn a valuable lesson that helping out someone is very important when needed. I mean, I work with all ages of people. So I work with people that are older than me. I work with people that are just out of high school. And what I see is the people just out of high school, depending on the culture, that are very developed into being like, yeah, that was my fault. Or they don't argue with what is their fault. They don't say, well, it was because of this person. The stupidest, dumbest thing that most kids do, they blame it on someone else. The stupid, dumbass thing that most adults do, they blame it on someone else. See the connection? You learn when you're a child, when you're developing your brain, say from like 1 to 10, even at 1 to 12, when you really start to develop, before you start hitting your hormone, explosion, you start growing, balls and all that stuff, and then everything starts to, you become what you call a man from a boy, or say a girl to a woman. Things kind of only stick at that point, because your developed stage is normally the first 5 years of your life, and then the next, say, 7 years, you develop even more because your personality starts to kick in. Then you actually start to like things, you start doing things a little bit more. It's your own developmental way. So it blows my mind. So I live around a whole bunch of different cultures of like how people raise their children. And everybody in my neighborhood raise their children with love and care and have their little moments because, you have your moments where you get upset in that. And I see that they have way more luxury. It seems like they feel more happier than I did when I was a child. My happiness was video games. I kept my mind surrounded by fictional stuff because it was better than real life. And I think a lot of people could agree with it. My dad's abusive or my mom's a bitch because they haven't grown up to the point where they can say, I love myself, that I want to be, who I want to be. I mean, I talked to a counselor because I went to counseling for like 3 days. The stupidest thing is, what they say is what we're all thinking. Do what you want to do. Love yourself and stay positive. And life will go the way that you choose to go. So it's like if you work hard, stay positive, and keep pushing past the limitations of life, you'll grow to be a good person. So meaning that you're wrong, don't get super negative. So you gotta look at the ins and outs. So you gotta look at, be positive or be negative. Have you listened to negative people? They're the ones. Most likely, they're the ones that say what? But that was someone else's fault. That's why my milk spilled on the floor. She walked past me with her big, huge boobies, and I got excited, and I knocked over my milk. No, you got excited because you were looking at her boobies. I'm just throwing it, trying to be funny. It's your fault all the fucking damn time, 100% because you're the one that chooses to do it. Doesn't matter what sex you are. I'm going by just sex because race doesn't fucking matter at all. Because you got the female, male, and then whatever else they like to be in between. That doesn't matter. Because they always got to be one or the other. Doesn't give a shit. That's sexuality. That's not, your sexual counterpart of female, male. That's just what you like to do is female or male. Or both. Whatever. That doesn't matter as much. And I find it really funny. It's just like, say, like a gay person growing up. People are still, like, very fixated on that. Guys, do what you tell them. Like, I grew up in that, I was very mellow tone. I didn't really care. I'm like, well, if you're gay, you're gay. But males are always the ones that say, well, don't get too close to me. You might get a boner. You might think about bending me over and plugging me. That's what they think. And yes, it has to do with your childhood. Because if you don't have that kind of thing, like, or you don't have your parents talk down, you think, oh, well, there's different sexes of people, there's female, male, but there's also people that like female, male, or like male, male, female, female, or whatever, that's in between. Same thing. What you see, what you hear. So if you see a lot of gay people around you, you get used to being the whole, like, you're used to it. That's what it all comes down to. Your childhood is your most important. So, like, I'll tell you something that is probably the most important thing, the reason why I am who I am. I still have a little bit of the old me in me, but I'm trying to, build myself up to surpass it or just make that old me better. As in the new me now, confusing. I have an old counterpart of myself. That is my old personality. So I did a dramatic change where I went completely new, all new thoughts. The way I think about life is completely different than what I did before. I used to be a complainer. I used to be like, that was that person's fault, the reason why my milk got spilled. Now I'm saying, that was my fault the milk got spilled. And then crack a joke after it and try to be more positive. Say, yeah, I was looking at her and I actually knocked over my milk. She's very beautiful. That is how you can do it. You could be at fault, but put a positive outturn or a positive turn event over it, and it makes you feel better. Because then you're making people happy, like, oh yeah, she's got a nice butt. I can see why I knocked my milk over too. Right there, just pretty much just settles the whole thing. So instead of blaming that person, you're still like technically blaming her, but you're blaming yourself more. So the percentage is like 99-1. Well, I looked at her and I knocked over my milk. Because you looked at her. You looked at her. So the bulk of the words are yours. Just her is what made you turn your eyes and knock over your milk. Now, someone else would be like, oh, I looked at her, but her boobs were so big, that's why I knocked over my milk. Doesn't matter. You looked at her. Doesn't matter if her boobs are big or not. The sense of excitement is just whatever you want to do. Or a man or a woman, for instance. Oh, I turned, I looked at him, and he had big arms and muscles, and that. It got me intense where I knocked over my orange juice, because women don't like drinking milk as much as orange juice. I'm just throwing different shit out there. That's how you do it. So if your childhood's raised like that, and say your mommy or your daddy take care of you, and they're like, oh, you never do anything wrong. The ones that say you do stuff wrong, or you're going to develop to be like, well, I might as well learn from my mistakes. Don't knock over the fucking milk. You can look at her, but don't knock over the milk. But we get this thing when we get it wrong. It happened. It happens all the time. Say I work in that, because I work at fast food. I sit at, most times I'm on drive-through. Drive-through's a pain. You're constantly listening, and you gotta listen for both ears. The only shitty thing is when you're listening to one side and the other is listening to the other side, it gets you fatigued really fast, because your brain's trying to comprehend both sides, and your brain's like, man, double work. Oh, I'm here. Excuse me. Oh, try to wake the fuck up. Hey, get some water. I need to remember to always bring water when I'm streaming. But yeah, that shit does matter. I would love to hear people comment below and talk about certain things, certain events that, that might have bothered them in that. So I feel it's very, very important to go back in your past, which you can do mentally, and try to forgive or learn something new from the past. This is the biggest thing. This is why people meditate. You know what meditation is, right? Meditation is to focus on something to be able to change it. So there's certain kinds of meditation. But once you evolve your meditation, it's like settling all the stuff in your life mentally. So for me, I just like my dad. I think he can be a good person, but I also think that he could be an asshole. He treats, everyone so different. The closer you get to someone, say to him, seems like the more you treat him like crap, because they know too much about him, about who he really is. This is what you call personality disorder. This has to do with the childhood. Oh. And I talked to him a couple days ago. I just got my first paycheck. Getting paid the wage I get paid. I get paid $15 an hour. I used to get paid $11. It was pretty much $100 increase. Oh, excuse me. I used to get paid like $380 something. Now I get paid $40 something. So I get paid $400 a month more, which is amazing. I'm very happy. I'm very. I still do the same job. I just get paid more because White Castles is the first one to go $15 an hour because people need it. Minimum wage was there to say that you can live off of by yourself and have money left over to be able to advance yourself. That's what minimum wage was actually there for. Nowadays, minimum wage is just saying they're like, well, it's made for like teenagers, young or old, young adults to get jobs, stay at home and make money, and then develop then. No, the job is supposed to be able to satisfyingly take care of you without anybody else. Nowadays, it takes two people. So, like, for me to go out on my own with the money I make now, it's going to be a little bit easier. But I still would struggle where my lifestyle would change. Oh. And that's what it is. I should jump my neck a little bit. That's why I see people say going on YouTube like I'm doing now and try to, get views in that. Because, that little bit excess money, whenever it does come down to it, it's going to be something that's going to make it better for me. So in my case, I'm in a hurry. Because as of right now, I don't know what's going to happen because I still live with my parents. And I haven't found any way out. And I'm just starting to really get into this because I'm a very late starter. I'm over like a decade behind in where I should be at, I guess. At least financially. But mentally, I'm very far ahead of where I should be at. And that's the struggles I'm going through. Because I still haven't, got my own place. I still haven't even got my own car, So I'm still going through these things that people go through while they're 18 to like 20 something. And it wasn't just me. My middle brother was almost the same way. He didn't get his license until he was like in his his early 20s. I have an issue with it. And I know what it is. I'm afraid to see people watch me drive. I don't know what it is. I walk all day long. I lift weights and shit, and I talk like a fucking idiot. And I'm very positive and try to be, a good role model towards the younger generation just because I've noticed that younger people talk to me more like, oh, look at you, it's because I'm masculine. I got big arms and, I work out in that, and the way I talk is positive and they kind of go towards it. Even the girls do. So I like to have fun in that, not just, because my job's not that hard. It can be, but no job is easy. Every job takes time. Like, we got a couple new people in. I said we got a lot of girls, for instance. Less men and more women. I'm fine with that because they work. So we got this black gentleman coming. He used to work at another fast food. And I understand you complain at first because it's just how it is. I don't know what's with men, but men seem to complain a hell of a lot more than women do. And I've been sitting there like thinking about it. Why is that? Seems like women take more responsibility over their actions than men do. I don't know. That just seems like that's what they do. I work with more women than I do men. I have 1, 2, 3. Did have the fourth one. He left. What's up? Yay! Yeah, I just woke up like about 30 minutes ago. But the ratio of man and woman in my work is completely different. I work with more women than men. And when I structure the men, I would say probably maybe like half of them are actually legitimate workers. The other half complain, bitch, oh, not my fault. Starting to see this turn event where women want to, I can't say be the man. Yeah. Why would I say yeah? What? Oh, shut the hell up. You're the only one that says yo, first of all. You say yo to me too many times. Your generation shouldn't even know the word yo. The hell? Are you... Okay, smart ass. Get the fuck out of here. But anywho, I started to notice that everywhere I go, I went to White Castles, I see tons of women and not a lot of guys. I'm starting to see this turn of event that women want to be more successful without a man, or be the one that has more successfulness. I see it all the time. It's ridiculous. More women go to school. Can't say school's always the best, but if you want to get a good career because you are going to school, go to school. Get it over with, and then, do whatever you want to do. Don't let college stick to your knowledge, as in, don't let college overwhelm what knowledge they give you, because a lot of the knowledge they give you is fucking pointless. Get your career, work while you're young. That's how I see women doing it. Very impressive. Maybe it's due with their childhood. Maybe what they see on TV. All successful women. They don't need a man. Point taken. Or they see their mother saying, I need a man because they make all the money, and I need that support. Women make more money than men. By far. By far. Why? Because it's a man's world. Think about it. Any girl that's a stripper, a model, show off anything. Men throw money at fist over fist. Exactly. So that's because of childhood. You learn from your childhood. Never been a big money person, but I see women or man can develop good with good childhood memories, good ways of parenting or environment, more or less more environment. Can't say people parent their kids. They tell them no. Or they say, oh, don't do that. But it's what the child sees and hears that develops who they are. I don't think people realize that. I never learned much from my childhood, but what I saw was, don't be an asshole. Be positive. Love yourself. Don't hate yourself. Because what are you going to change? And fuck these damn celebrities. Fuck all these celebrities that think that, their lives are picture perfect. Now it's high class ones that are always showing their shit off. It's like, oh man, it's like they have kids and that. Oh man, stuff, Oh my god. Now you can like them, you can listen to their music, you can enjoy them, but you can't be them. You know why? Because that's not you. Who you are is who you are. You develop yourself. Now you could take things from people that you might enjoy. Oh my god. Oh. Because you can. That's how life is. Like, everyone has their things. Either watch a lot of TV, or play a lot of video games, or hang out with people or whatever. But that's the reason why I made this video, because I just thought about it. My parents are going to counseling for having trust issues with each other. And most likely it's my dad not trusting my mom. Once again, I don't know what it is. The males got issues with trusting women to a certain extent. Now it's how they are. The percentage of men that do it, because I see it. I don't take authority from you because you're a woman. But you sure will chase that fucking pussy of a woman to try to get it. So you're already taking authority. A woman walks all over you because you want her. And once you get her, you're like, I'm a man. No, you're not. You'd be surprised. Some women literally date children. As in, man-childs. Fully developed fucking men that act like children. Because the woman thinks of that as a motherly thing. I don't know why they do it. But they do it. I see it with my own eyes. Like, why are you dating him? Well, I love him. But he treats you like shit. Well, yeah, but I like taking care of him. He's not your fucking child. He's a man. He's trying to be a man. You keep picking up his damn milk bottles. He ain't never gonna learn how to be a man. I'm 31 years old. I haven't had a girlfriend since I was 16. 15 years, give or take. An actual girl I dated. And actually had a relationship with. I could call her my girlfriend. I met the family and everything. I still remember her name. I think her name was Kristen. Oh, I got massage my neck. Ooh. And like it came down to that, I felt the same way. I sacrificed. This is the biggest thing. I'm gonna emphasize this. This is the biggest fucking thing that everyone needs to do. Sacrifice. What I mean by sacrifice is to learn something without getting something in return. Besides the learning, for instance. So, like, how do you sacrifice? Not saying, like, get shot by a bullet because of someone. No. Sacrificing is sacrificing a little bit of your own, like, entertainment or something for someone else to do something for that person and then learn something from it. Welcome. So, like, for instance, I don't do a lot of things. People my age are always out. They go to bars. They do all this stuff and that. I'm talking about how your childhood affects your adulthood. So, like, as you're growing up, you develop a certain way. And how that people don't see it. That when you're a child, you develop like 100 times faster than you are as an adult. As in, like, hearing, learning, and stuff like that. So what you see, what you hear, develops you. And how your personality might be for that set moment until you become older. But how things stick to you more when you're a child. Because it's very important to learn this. It's very, very important. Because when you have kids, you know how to structure your kids. And that's what's happening with the new generation. My generation having kids, they're structuring them to be less bullies, to not fight, to love, to, to be more positive, to look forward, not backwards. But not all parents are like that. I have some parents that I work with, at least one of them. She's a bully. So her kid's a bully. She talks about how her kid always gets in fights in school. Because he doesn't know how to alleviate stuff without punching. Because you know what his mom says? Just fight them. Just beat the shit out of them. And like, how does a parent tell their child just to start swinging at fucking people just because it doesn't go your fucking way? That's how you end up in fucking prison. That's how you end up beating your wife. Structurally sound fucking... Oh, God. It's always that percentage of people that do that shit. I was one of them. Very angry child. Used to break shit all the time. Because it never went my way. But now I'm learning from my childhood to not do that. I don't do that anymore. I learned to structure myself and learn to be balanced. Say, I give and take. I sacrifice a little bit so I can learn that. Or I don't sacrifice and then I enjoy it. But even with that, if someone swings at you and you're dumb enough to get hit by them, then maybe you should get hit in the face. Maybe you said something. Not saying it's always like that, but there's a high percentage of it being vocal or people talking about shit. That's how it always is. Bullies don't enter. The bullies are like the emotional assholes of the world. They throw out emotions by making fun of or doing something to make you attack them. That's what most likely bullies do. I mean, like, I never got in fights. Hello. I've never, ever got in fights. Because a lot of it was pointless. And there was one kid in my high school. His name was Mike Tripley. And he was a dick. Because his childhood was aggressive. So he treated people aggressively. And he had a couple friends around him that would always say he's super strong, or, they do all this dramatic shit in high school. It's like, oh, he's Superman. Everyone does that shit. I've been through it myself. But honestly, when it comes down to it, he never really did anything towards me until his woman provoked him to do it toward me. Because he had a girlfriend. She's very beautiful. She had big boobs in high school. Girls with big boobs in high school, every guy's like, oh my God. And she showed off a lot of cleavage during class. And I looked at her cleavage, and she told her boyfriend, which was that Mike Tripley guy. And he got in my face about it. And then evidently he was scared because he didn't really do nothing. He put me up against the pillar in the lunchroom, and then I like yelled at him, and then he started to be friends with me. He started talking to me more than that, and I explained to him, and it seems like it worked. And evidently it made him... So I saw him, like, say, like 5 or 6 years later working at Shop and Save at the time. And he was cool. And it was nice, we were very, close to each other. So not everyone in high school that you see that you might not talk to, you might actually be friends with later on, because people tend to grow up, I guess. But their childhood's really bad normally when they go through life. No, it's hard to structure yourself until you leave that lifestyle, until you move into your own house and that. That's a perfect example. I don't know about the clothing thing, but the last thing you said, I understand. I guess it does happen. I don't know where clothes start coming into this. What you guys were talking about. Anyway. Nah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's called object obsessive. Your emotions go towards everything you put your eyes on. So, like, guys put emotions into their muscles, for instance, and they like to lift weights, so they check themselves out. Well, that's what it is. It's not knowing your personality. It's not knowing where you stand. If you don't know where you stand at, all you do is fall. Because you don't know where you're at. It's like living in a time, like a no space zone. You're just falling. You don't know where you're at until you actually hit the ground. Then you start realizing who you are. Yeah, you're right about the whole smaller car thing. That's what I'm thinking about too. I hate big cars. Oh man. Yeah. Oh. Boo boo doo 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 doo. That is the stupidest fucking thing ever. Any man, say, watches Fast and the Furious, because that's where the shit pretty much started for the most part, at least for me, being in the 90s and that, growing up in the 2000s. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Because I live around a lot of people that have really nice cars and that. It's like people that own dealerships and that, so their kids always get cars because they think give them every like 6 months they can like rent a car for free or whatever. I always see a girl in the car. And the funny thing is, girl doesn't look happy with the man. She just likes using the car for her own personal attention. Saying, hey, look at me. That ain't your car, girl. That's the guy's car. You don't even care about him. You care about... I saw it today when I was at work. This one guy, he's a black gentleman. He came up with like $20, $100 bills. Literally, like a whole stack of hundreds. And the girl looked like she didn't even care about him. She's just like, buy me food, bitch. Oh my... So I can tell because he was very polite to me. And she was just like, "Where's my chicken nuggets at?" And she didn't say nothing, but you could feel the vibe that she didn't care. Always on their phone, their seats pulled back. They're just sitting there like talking that and like why are you using that, boy? Wait, you don't want to be using that, man. Stop it. Mm. What would they like about working, say, at fast food and talking to customers? You learn so much how the community is. You see everybody. You learn a lot too. You can see how like caring people might be. Cause surprisingly, I get tips in drive-through. I got two $1 gold coin, not gold coin, but you know. Some people give because they see that jobs are hard, and some people don't care. Okay, we'll see you later. Oh. Oh. Oh, keep biting the side of my fucking cheek. Fucking hate that. This time my cheek got swollen up because I bit it before. And now I keep fucking biting it. Sucks. Oh, I'm gonna do this for 48 minutes. Got a little bit longer because I gotta get off and do some shit. Anything you want to talk about before I leave? Anything at all? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She'd be a pretty nice person. Oh, he loves. Okay. Well, I think I did good enough talking. I don't know what else to talk about, honestly. What am I gonna do? I don't know when I'm gonna be off, but I think I'm gonna be off hopefully Sunday, Monday again. Then I'm gonna go and probably stream on Saturday or Sunday morning. Because gotta keep up with this. I enjoy it. So I'd stream on YouTube and talk about your stuff and that. You can be part of the community of people. It feels amazing. Anyway, I gotta get some stuff done, and I'll probably see you guys probably tomorrow or something like that. Who knows?